The chairperson of His Majesty King Mswati III has challenged member states of the organization to assess and reflect on challenges that confront it with an intention to find sustainable solutions. The Kingdom of Lesotho will assume the role of SACU chairperson from the 15th of July 2023. Members of Parliament have raised concerns on the processes of the 2023 general elections, especially the voter validation exercise. The news in detail. The chairman of the Southern African Customs Union, SACU, His Majesty King Mswati III, has challenged member states of the organization to assess and reflect on challenges that confront it with an intention to find sustainable solutions. His Majesty was speaking when he was officially opening the 8th SACU Summit of Head of States or Government at Manvulo Grand Hall in Lozita. His Majesty reflected on positive developments that have been achieved by the organization since the Kingdom of Eswatini assumed its chairmanship. The official opening of the summit was graced by Emakosigati to His Majesty the King and their Royal Highnesses.
His Majesty King Mswati III and SACU heads of state or government provided strategic guidance on the implementation of the SACU strategic plan, which presents a pathway that the organization will follow in the next 5 years. The strategic plan, which is centered on 6 pillars, comes at a critical time when efforts globally are being directed towards economic recovery following the devastating impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. It aims to position SACU as an industrial, investment, manufacturing and innovation hub for the continent and beyond. SACU leaders who participated in the summit were President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa, the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Lesotho, Sam Maketane, the Prime Minister of Namibia, Sarah Kukongela, representing President Hage Geingob, the Minister of Investment, Trade and Industry in Botswana, Musi Gafela, representing President Mohwesi Masisi, and the SACU Executive Secretary, Thabo Gasipe. His Majesty King Mswati III reflected on the impact that Eswatini has had on the organization since assuming the role of chairperson.
The importance of SACU cannot be overemphasized, as it plays a major role in development of our respective countries. We are pleased that we are here. We are currently experiencing positive developments in the collection of SACU receipts, which will contribute immensely to the social and economic development of our countries. As Eswatini, we are happy that during our chairmanship, all member states realized a windfall in our SACU receipts. We need to maintain these positive results and standards to increase the returns even more. The country's receipts increased by a significant share of 102% when compared to the previous year. It is the first time seeing such high returns. Contributing to this positive growth was the higher than projected outturn of the 2021-22 Common Revenue Pool, together with the 25% increase in the projected size of the CRP for 2023-24 compared to 2022 to 2023 financial year.
The King says all member states have a role to play in the growth of the organization.
Your Excellencies, we are here to deliberate on key issues concerning SACU, with a view to providing the necessary political and strategic guidance to our institution. We have seen this organization grow from strength to strength, moving in the right direction. As members, we have an obligation to nurture this child of ours, and where there are challenges, we need to sit down and find amicable solutions. This is particularly important at this time as SACU works on the implementation of its recently approved strategic plan 2022-2027 in the midst of the recent global developments, which are having a significant impact on our economies.
South African President Cyril Ramaphosa says SACU should make formidable strides in the growth of trade in the whole of Africa.
This customs union should contribute to substantially increase African trade in goods and services. We will achieve this if we have clearly articulated programs, clearly articulated initiatives, if we have and utilize our resources, and we have a robust governance framework and a commitment to execute our strategic plan. And I do think we can live up to this if, as SACU, we continue to serve as an important instrument for deepening African economic integration, as we strive to develop our economies, as well as to advance mutual prosperity and leave no one behind in our region.
The Executive Secretary, Thabo Hasipe, said the organization has achieved significant progress since the adoption of its strategic plan last year.
The objective of this 8th summit is to receive a report from the Council of Ministers on the progress attained towards the implementation of the SACU strategic plan, which was approved by the Council and endorsed by the summit in June 2022. You will recall that the strategic plan prioritizes industrialization as SACU's overarching objective, which will be attained through the development of regional value chains, investment attraction, and export promotion.
His Majesty the King commended the African Leaders Initiative, which was led by President Cyril Ramaphosa to broker peace in the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and said he was hopeful that the initiative will bring a solution. On the news, I am Sandile Makanya reporting from Mandvulo Grand Hall in Lozita.
The Kingdom of Lesotho will assume the role of SACU chairperson from the 15th of July 2023. This was revealed at the official closing session of the 8th Summit of SACU Head of States or Government by His Majesty King Mswati III at Mandvulo Grand Hall in Lozita.
His Majesty the King says the summit offered leaders an opportunity to discuss areas that the organization can tap into in order to achieve success.
We've had a very interesting program. I want to thank their excellencies and all the delegates who are here to participate in this very important summit. We've had a very fruitful discussions, and we've actually shaped the structure for the SACU. We've given the right direction, and a lot of our people who are living within our member states are looking, all of us in this room, and they've put their faith on our shoulders, that we need to make their life much, much better. And with the discussions we've had here, we've covered a lot of things. We looked at things for the economy, how we can structure ourselves, position ourselves in a much, much better structure as a SACU. We looked at how we continue to develop from leaps and bounds, attracting all sorts of investment in agriculture, in manufacturing, in ICT. We looked at promoting peace and stability within the SACU family. There have been a lot of things that we have touched upon. So I want to thank their excellencies. Their contribution, because is very important.
The king says the next summit will be held in the Kingdom of Lesotho in June next year. The kingdom will assume the role of chairperson of the organization next month. Prime Minister Sam Maketane says Lesotho is ready for the challenge. On the news, I'm Sandile Makanya reporting from Manvulo Grand Hall in Lozita.
Members of Parliament have raised concerns on the processes of the 2023 general elections, especially the voter validation exercise, saying the Ministry of Justice should reconsider the provision of voter cards. The MPs were speaking in Parliament on Thursday.
The Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Polile Kantu, has tabled the ministerial statement in the House of Assembly, updating the Honourable House on the ongoing stages of the general elections. Members of Parliament then forwarded their concerns before the House.
Ngabe vele ukubuka kukahle ibhisilo ukuthi ngalinye laleli swati leli bhalisile alititelelo lamathupha lokudota ihlola. Umbuto ke uthi bangete bathumela yini.
This is a sign of technology in action. Kuthi utawukhanza sekule. But sayini ke nasufika le awusekho. Sekude nalo lofuna kukusita sikwende njani?
Ngibani lo lotsite akushintshe kulendlela besenda ngayo idolo. Kubuyisele kunayilesha yetincingo. Mr. Speaker, le level sengakabi advanced kangako.
I-date sola akashintshi yama nomination. Uthi imhla 22. So letinkinga letindodla netindodla tetinkinga iyasondzela le date.
The minister then responded to the debate.
Libandla vele lingiphathise lokho speaker ngoba njengoba ngishito ukuthi lona ngumsebenzi welive and asibuyeli emuva, we are still progressing. Yebo kona kukhona labangaveli, but that is the whole purpose of the exercise ye validation. Ikona isemthethweni lenganiketa ethologcina kuko Honorable Speaker ukuthi as much as labanye bangaveli kule voters roll, kepha labantu bakhona kule electoral management system.
The House of Assembly then asked the Honourable Minister to update the House on the next sitting on the progress of the voter register validation process and give assurance to Eswatini that the 2023 general elections will be free and fair. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Samkal Suekoza with Sikumbuzo Dlamini and Muzim Konta, Parliament.
The Minister of Labour and Social Security, Philip Telezi, says vocational schools equip students to be self-employed rather than seeking employment. The minister was talking during the graduation ceremony at Inhlangano Vocational Training and Rehabilitation Centre.
65 students have graduated at the Nhlangano Vocational Training and Rehabilitation Center. Most of the students that were enrolled are living with disabilities. The Minister of Labour and Social Security, Philip Telezi, has spoke about the importance of vocational training in the country.
So imisebenzi ke lefana nalena le yenziwa la ekhaya kuleli college letemakhono etiko kuzama kukhicita emaswati le ngeke kumbe nasaphothulile agcine ngekufuna umsebenzi nemaswati letawukhona ukuthi atakhele wona umsebenzi kube sangazacasha nalamanye aphinze kube nendlela yokuthi afundzise nalamanye yona lemisebenzi kuzama ukwehlisa lezinga lekungaqasheki kwaso sibe sengiyana. So umsebenzi nje lebesihlangene ngawo namhla umcwa kakhulu ukuthatha nakulabanye ekutheni asingabuki ukusebenzela yoqashwa asiyibuke imisebenzi lesingayenda ngetandla namakhono ethu lesinawo kuzama ukudiphilisa lele baphothulile nje namhla la nabaphuma kukhona imisebenzi abangasuka bayenda emakhaya. So siyakholwa ukuthi nesifundza lamakhono lebawakhonile ukuthi baphume nawo namhla batawuhamba bawasebenzise bakhona nekuwahlephula labanye etindzaweni lebakhekile.
The center manager Phindasi Hlongonyane has revealed the shortfalls they are still looking to improve from.
Ama-challenges lakhona uyukhanze ukuthi kumbe sesiba nema-shortage yabo training material enzaba ukuthi la umsebenzi wakhona mostly ku-practical so kakhulu kuba ngile training material nekuthi ke kumbe labanye abafundi bethu nasebacedzile bangakhoni lokuthi babe nale tinsita lengathi kumbe ma startup kits letinsita letingakhona ukuthi kumbe bakhone kuti sebenta yena.
The Vocational Training Center offer courses such as sewing, carpentry, secretariat studies, to name a few. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Thando Mdluli, Hlangano.
The Elections and Boundaries Commission Chairman Prince Mhlaphlangene has assured the nation that the ongoing inspection and revision of the voter register exercise is successfully ongoing. The chairman has been speaking during a press meeting on Wednesday evening.
The inspection and revision of the voters register exercise commenced on the 22nd of June by the Elections and Boundaries Commission, EBC. The purpose of the inspection and revision of the voters register is to allow all Emaswati who register to vote to ensure that they are captured correctly and their personal details and polling information appears where they will vote and they appear in the final voter register roll. Addressing the press on Wednesday evening, Chairperson of the Commission, Prince Mhlaphlangene, assured the nation that the validation exercise is successfully ongoing.
This exercise, as a component of the starting of the registration, is equally important in the sense that this presents the opportunity now where the nation, together with ourselves as EBC, get to have the opportunity to ensure that the registration data for participating in the elections is captured and presented correctly. It is important to underscore the fact that being a validation exercise, it goes without saying that it is a validation with a view to eventually presenting the nation with a final voters register. Indeed, what we have right now is a preliminary voters register.
The validation exercise is expected to be completed on July 12, 2023. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I am Samgal Suekoza, Ganini.
The UNFPA Eswatini Head of Office Margaret Twala says women and girls must have access to quality essential sexual reproductive health services for the country to attain the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Twala has been speaking during the launch of the Eswatini Strategic Assessment on Unintended Pregnancies and Contraceptives.
The Minister of Health, in partnership with the United Nations Population Fund UNFPA last year, conducted a survey on the unintended pregnancies and contraceptives. The study is being conducted in 8 other countries under UNFPA. On Thursday, UNFPA launched the findings of the study.
32% of them received information on how they could avoid future pregnancies. We only screened 28% of these women for STIs, and these are women at risk. They've had unprotected sex, and only 8% of them actually had initiation of contraception in the health facility.
UNFPA Eswatini Head of Office Margaret Twala said women and girls must have access to quality essential sexual reproductive health services.
What prompted us to be part of the 8 countries where the study has been done is because we found that based on the records that the country analyzes every quarter, abortion is number 3. And there are several reasons to why people end up aborting. One of which is because they do not have access to family planning or contraceptive services. So we thought that we needed to find out whether women do have issues or challenges or barriers in accessing family planning, and when they abort or when they end up losing their pregnancy because of abortion, do they have access to post-abortion care services?
Sexual Reproductive Health Manager in the Ministry of Health, Bonsile Nhlabazi, said the assessment revealed that there is a huge information gap amongst women in the society.
Umthelela lomkhulu wekuthi bantu bamithe bangakaconsi ngibona lokuthi bedele lo lwati abalwathi nokuthi batalithola kuphi lesinye isikhathi kulomuvo lobo usho nglabantu abathi nokuthi batalithola kuphi futhi noma ngabe bayeva ukuthi likhona
bayakhona ukufika khona.
Recommendations of the study are to amend family planning policies in the country and equip healthcare workers on inclusive healthcare. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Samkalsiwe Kozabwet, Sikumbuzo Dlamini, Esulwini.
Dear viewers, now take a short commercial break. We'll be right back.
Spa Rewards is giving you a whole lot more, with 3 days of even more. From 30th June to 2nd July. Like Jacob's Crooning Coffee bottle or refill for only $99.99. And 2 kg Sunlight hand washing powder for just $54.99. Spa Rewards. Sign up for more.
He's John, he's a man who has a dream, but no one else knows anything about it. And Jane, she also has a dream, but no cash to make it happen anytime soon.
Stand a chance to win $100,000 in cash. Buy any participating product and your dream can come true. Also save on Best Bride Josie Barbecue Horse, a bargain at $104.99. Stay Soft Fabric Conditioner Refill for just $26.99. And Nola Mayonnaise, now only $32.99. Only at OK, owners you can count on.
And Bandile is another man with a dream.
Today, you have a choice. How will you become future ready? Are you equipped to lead? How will you transform your career? Regent Business School empowers you with the leadership and entrepreneurial skills to disrupt, rethink, innovate, and be the future. Visit regent.ac.za to register.
He's John, he's a man who has a dream, but no one else knows anything about it. And Jane, she also has a dream, but no cash to make it happen anytime soon.
Stand a chance to win $100,000 in cash. Buy any participating product and your dream can come true. Also save on Score Energy Drink, any 2 for 18 ml. Nescafe Classic, now only $87.99. And Liquid Fruit for just $21.99. Only at OK, owners you can count on.
And Bandile is another man with a dream.
Welcome back. You're still watching Eswatini TV, and in our sports news, we begin with the national team Sihlangu Semnikati that continues with the preparations of the 2023 COSAFA Cup tournament that begins next month in the Republic of South Africa. National team coach Dominic Kunene says it remains the team's biggest dream to reach the finals of the tournament. Sihlangu is currently training at the Technical Center, Lubamba.
We'll begin our sports roundup with the national team Sihlangu Semnikati that continue with preparations of the 2023 COSAFA Cup that takes place next month. Head coach Dominic Kunene believes it remains everyone's dream in the team to reach the final of the tournament for the very first time.
Githi imcoka kakhulu because nawubuka iperformance yethu kule tournament kubita lokho ukuthi sende kangcono because saphuma kuma semi kumakota uyabo siproduceile bo man of the match. Sine top goal scorer, so kukuyi pressure kwakona lokho kubita ukuthi sifike 70 kamadima kule tournament.
Players Pitani Mkonvo and goalkeeper Sandra Matabela are echoing the coach's words.
I believe ukuthi after le lama bad result leswatfolile ku ama qualification AFCON, so kumele siyothi redeem le COSAFA, so I promise ukuthi sta spana smachit.
Kuyi challenge kithi because sike safika kuma semi-finals nase PE. But game, I think the players are ready, they can do it. Kukubo nje ukuthi ma lift the spirit from le defeat lababuya kuyo ku talk. Otherwise they can do it. Abakwenze PE basangakwenze eJapan.
The tournament begins on the 5th to the 16th of July this year in Durban in the Republic of South Africa. Sihlangu is in Group A alongside host nations South Africa, Namibia and Botswana. And in other news, the swimming national team continue with preparations of the World Aquatic Championship Games to be held in Japan next month. Team head coach Welcome Hlabatsi and swimmer Haley Hoy are confident that the country will produce good results this year.
It's a project, man. And the project is skill. If you look at the kids that were selected, those 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds, they're all just doing who's been there. But it's in the project.
We are currently training in Pretoria at TICS with Rocco Meiring. He's the national coach for South Africa. So we're definitely prepping. We're prepping really well for this. We're working hard. Okay. So we should see some good results. Definitely improve my times, obviously, but to break a national record perhaps in the 100-meter butterfly and the 50-meter, and that's all I can hope for at this point.
The games will begin on the 14th to the 30th of July in Fukuoka City in Japan. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msonera, Mbawane.
That is all we had for tonight, but before we wrap up, we'll take a quick recap of today's headlines. The chairperson of the Southern African Customs Union, His Majesty King Mswati III, has challenged member states of the organization to assess and reflect on challenges that confront it with an intention to find sustainable solutions. The Kingdom of Lesotho will assume the role of SACU chairperson from the 15th of July 2023. Members of Parliament have raised concerns on the processes of the 2023 general elections, especially the voter validation exercise. That brings us to the end of our news bulletin tonight. Up next is the weather focus for selected towns. Good night, Eswatini.
Sive sasengulwini sesibhalisile bhaliseke kahle sinibonga kakhulu sesingena